A few days ago, I made a video detailing how Bloodborne was in need of a remaster, which most people agreed with me. Meanwhile, some others had a bit more of a purist mentality, and some others were just like straight up delusional. Like, I can understand wanting to defend your favorite game, but there's no need to defend every single little thing, especially when it comes to decisions not even made by the developer, like 30 FPS for example. But also in that video, I stated that if Sony were to somehow see this video, they should try and reach out, or at least describe why we haven't even gotten a statement about a potential Bloodborne remaster. And against all odds, somehow, someway, a Sony employee sends me an email literally just a few hours ago, had a bit of a back and forth, and now I'm back to report the very important information that was shared. Now, I'm not going to state exactly who this person was, nor show the exact email, as it was in their best wishes to not have that be the case. Now, you might think that I'm trolling, but the person that I spoke to also mentioned they were reaching out to other Souls content creators to discuss the same topic, and I did contact some of these other creators to actually confirm that it's true, so don't be surprised if you see some more videos like this releasing today. Who knows, probably somebody already beat me to it. I only got to ask roughly around 5 questions, and they didn't flat out say whether or not they would directly be a remaster, but the fact that they reach out to me to begin with, and that a remaster is pretty much just inevitable, and with some of the things that they did share with me, I'm fairly confident that we do get something sometime soon. The first question that I did ask was whether the remaster was actually cancelled at some point, because some time ago there were some rumors about there being a remaster, but it got cancelled before Elden Ring's release, and they literally did confirm this. They didn't say who was doing the remaster or how far along they were into it, but with the knowledge that I did have on the situation, I asked whether or not it had to do with Japan studio shutting down, or if they felt that with Elden Ring releasing, it would hurt potential sales, and they very vaguely agreed with me. Because if you don't know, Japan Studios didn't just help develop Bloodborne, but they literally came up with the idea. So despite everyone hating on Sony, if it wasn't for their directly funded studio, we wouldn't even have a Bloodborne to begin with. But unfortunately, Japan Studios did fold and merge with Team Asobi, which ended up making Astrobot. But now that that game is done, are they potentially working on a remaster or remake? Unfortunately, could not get that answer. Now, when it comes to clashing with Elden Ring's release, this has been a take that I've had for a few years now. From Software has been like dropping games every single year, so it hasn't really made as much sense to drop a Bloodborne remaster in between, because it would actually hurt potential sales, and it just wouldn't be good for either party. It would be best if they just waited for the opportune moment to drop it, which now that we have Night Train coming out this year, we might end up getting it next year, or maybe still actually end up being this year, because Night Train is actually a different genre, so there's not going to be much of an overlap in player base. I also did ask if it would ever come to PC, and they were not too confident about that one, which my theory for why the PC ports would never exist is because Sony only put something on that platform to serve as bait for people to actually buy consoles for the sequels. They put Spider-Man there so people can buy a PS5 for Spider-Man 2. And they did this exact same thing for games like God of War and Last of Us. And funnily enough, this theory that I had was literally proven true not that long ago. Now, there isn't a Bloodborne 2 nor a Bloodborne prequel on the PC, but one thing that the PC does have is Dark Souls and Elden Ring. People that like the series and want to play Bloodborne, they're gonna have to buy a PlayStation. Like, there's no need to put Bloodborne on the PC if 1, the bait is already there, and 2, which is most important, they don't plan to make a sequel or another PS5 exclusive. Like, people might get upset about those things, but if there was a PC port for Bloodborne, that would pretty much guarantee that the next FromSoft game would be a PlayStation exclusive, and we do not want that. So if a PC port ever happens, that is an immediate red flag. I do have my own takes why From Software shouldn't really engage in sequels to begin with, but that's a conversation for another time. I did also ask whether they actually like to do a remake or a remaster, and also just like flat out told them that they should actually do both, like a remaster right now and a remake for the PS6 release. And the employee actually did agree with that take, but they did say that there actually wasn't really anything that they could share. But what they also did say is that it won't be just as simple as like a remaster or a remake, but fans would still be satisfied. Whatever that means, I have no idea. I also did ask about what their thoughts were about the video that I did make, and then for the most part they did like my suggestions. Some things that they did say is that it wasn't in their intentions for Chalice Dungeons to be like a pay-to-win type format. Also, they did confirm my suspicions about resting at a lamp, which was something that it just wasn't technically capable at the time due to the performance not being as fast or as responsive as they would have liked. Because yeah, when Bloodborne first released, it was like an absolute mess. Also, the concept of teleporting between lamps wasn't even a thing they considered until like the Demon's Souls remake, which if you guys don't know, the OG Demon's Souls, which is a PlayStation exclusive, actually worked very much like Bloodborne with a teleportation, and it wasn't until the remake when they actually made this change, albeit that was a Bluepoint project, which them talking about Bluepoint and Sony together is kind of odd. Maybe some Sony studio employees were actually in on that project too. Now, the last question I did ask is why not just do like a 60 FPS patch instead of a remaster. And they said that the fans actually probably deserve a bit more for their loyalty for the game, but who knows what the future holds. Maybe a 60 FPS patch is still possible. Now, basically, this is like them like reporting that they're actually are going to do a remaster, because why would they actually word the comment like this? But most importantly, they're probably never going to give us a free update. Like, they 100% want to monetize this and get our money out of this. Now, one obvious question that you guys might have is that why would Sony want to reach out to content creators like myself and not address this in their own terms or have a more interview-like structure? And it could be one of a few different things. The first one is that they want to get more in touch with the community and get on their good side, and reaching out to content creators can be a good way of doing that. Secondly, they might have felt more pressured into making a statement now due to the restlessness of the fans as of the 10-year anniversary. They could have been more inclined to do it via email instead of like a weird interview, as that's not as controlled of a situation as you are put on the spot. And my last theory is that due to it being April Fool's Day, I just made this entire shit up and you guys are getting played. Get fucked. Bloodborne Remastered, are you guys serious? There's no way we're getting anything from such a mediocre, black and gray, no build variety, linear, outdated quality of life, spam heavy, skillless combat, most restrictive gameplay with its stupid rally mechanic and spamming guns, no skill expression, piece of shit, sorry ass Souls game. I just clickbaited everyone into having you hear my thoughts about the Bloodborne Remastered not being a thing, but I just disguised it as being a legit video because my opinions are always right and more people need to hear about them, because every single day I have the displeasure of seeing some of the most brain dead takes from the fans, and this is the only time where I can educate you guys and force you guys to listen to me via clickbait. And for some reason, it's socially acceptable if I do that at this specific day of the year. But with that being said, I am looking forward to playing some more Bloodborne in preparation for the inevitable remaster, which I'm predicting we get later this year. So thanks again to Sony for reaching out, and thank you guys for all the support and making it through the video. See you guys in the next, and let's hope that we hear some more official news about the best From Software game soon.